Thank you for tuning in to KBOB 89.9. I know you are enjoying the vibes and you're enjoying the tunes, but it is now time to tune in to the Black Love Club.
It's the Black Love Club. We on the radio. Turn the speaker up. You could tune in the live stream, but vibing and dial into the station. Join the conversation. Hey yo, say the Black Love Club is on the radio. You could tune into the live stream, just vibing and dial into the station. Hey yo, yeah, the Black Love Club, we on the radio. And welcome back, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. This is the Black Radio, and I'm your host, Nikki Talks. And of course, you know, we have two other amazing hosts in the building, Richard Roots and Edgar Prime in the building. So shout out to everybody who is tuning in. Y'all, I'm excited for today. Roots, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fantastic. It sounds like my mic is going in and out. Y'all hear that?
No, you sound good.
Is it me? Okay, maybe it's my headphones. That's what it is. Okay, it's better.
That's good.
I'm doing good.
How you doing today, Prime?
Oh, I'm doing great. Mickey Minnie beat April. Oh no. Competition in the chat.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to
she said Mickey Minnie said she love your hair too. Yeah, I'm loving the hair
Thank you.
too.
I actually just pulled it back because I didn't like how I looked on it.
Man, I like the blowout look. You had
I know, but with the headphones, it was just like 1 hour. I'm already fighting the frizz, y'all. I'm fighting the frizz, but look, I can't wait till I get my micro locks in because I'm tired of like doing hair. I'm ready to be locked again, and yeah.
you had that show woman look like. I thought you was about to get out here and bust a tune, serenade us a little bit.
Tomorrow, I'll be tomorrow. Y'all catch us tomorrow. I'll be together tomorrow because today I would just.
Oh yeah, y'all tune in tomorrow too, man. We got something good for y'all.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. But thank y'all. Shout out for y'all for watching and being in the building. Everybody, thank y'all so much. Because y'all just be doing it, okay? So I've had a good week, I guess. Yeah, I can't think of.
I mean, yeah, you sound very confident about that.
The kids were home Monday, and that was exciting because I had them all day with me Monday because they had like a professional development day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was exciting. I enjoyed that so much having them. Even though this whole weekend we just like literally cleaned our house. We like just clean. Like he cleaned one room the other day. We cleaned our room, like deep clean, like moved some stuff around. Literally moved the whole room around. So
I love the enthusiasm in which you talking about that. You know, like the same way we talk about, man, we built this sculpture. She like, man, we deep cleaned. We moved stuff around. We got a few dust bunnies we didn't know existed.
She keeps telling everybody like we clean. You would think like you would imagine us like with some dusters and wiping down walls or some stuff like that. Nah, we were moving stuff around. We were rearranging the house.
Yeah.
And then look, when I rearranged everything in our now all the stuff in our room is heavy. As I moved the stuff around, she was like, "You gonna be mad at me?" You saw our living room. I think we rearranged our living room again since you last been there too.
That's a fun activity.
Yeah.
It does something to my brain, but he admits like it looks so much better. It flows so much better. It looks a whole lot better. The room, I feel like you have more space in the room now. Like I have to do stuff like that. Like I feel like it keeps my sanity, but also really the reason why is because I kept getting like really congested because the vent was like right there over like where we slept. So I think that was making me
That made sense
congested,
too.
and so it was just like it was a lot. So I was like, let's try it this way so I could
Mhm.
see, because ain't no way I should be like that congested. But yeah, so other than that, it was a great weekend, a great week. I had a good time. We didn't really do much besides like clean, but also cleaning just really like reorganizing just really helps your brain cells and flow and your creativity and
Yeah, it
your thought
does.
process. So, yep. So let's get into the news. Is that my phone going off like that,
Yeah,
y'all?
it's got
No,
to
that's not
because
my phone.
it's a
Mm-mm.
group
It was on.
message.
It was on silent.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know it's definitely mine. I thought it
But
was you and I both.
it's going off, and mine is on silent. So, but I wanted to talk about news today. Um, it was honestly, it was like, I felt like it. It's a sad day, even though me personally, I really don't know the guy, and I only heard a little bit about his beliefs and stuff like that. But one thing that bothered me, Charlie Kirk is the guy who
Mhm.
I'm speaking of. It bothered me a lot because of just the stuff that I was reading from a lot of people,
Mhm.
how they were celebrating someone's death, and that bothered me. And it just, yeah, I didn't personally, I didn't like that. Because it's whether I believe in what you believe in or what, care about your viewpoints. I don't want anybody to die, especially like that. He has a wife, two children, they're
Mhm.
young kids. you know these kids, that action is gonna give a reaction to those kids' life. So those kids have no choice in what they believe in and the viewpoints. So it saddened me just to see uh basically the celebration. I felt
Right.
the same way when they had like the rumor that Trump died or
Mhm.
whatever. I was like, dude, I mean, what do we like him at the end of the day? And not, we shouldn't celebrate at someone's death. So
All
it
right.
just, yeah,
Yeah, no,
especially if it's a bad
no,
way.
I agree. I completely agree with you. What say you, Richard Roots?
Yeah, man, I disagree
Do
too,
you
man. I
know
think
anything about Charlie Kirk
no.
or?
So I know I've watched some of his videos when he was talking about the Trump election and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But I have never heard any of those videos until today. About
Mm.
stuff that's allegedly racist towards black people.
Mhm.
I say allegedly because I've heard the small clips,
Right.
but I haven't heard enough to say.
Like you don't have enough context to
Context,
Right.
be able to
Yeah.
yeah.
see if
Yeah. I
that's
know
what
I
you're
need
saying.
context. So, I mean, I think time alone, with social media have shown us that, it takes a lot of context before we can start speaking out on any matter. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that he's not racist, but
Right.
I know I don't have enough context to say he is.
Okay. No. So I have been following Charlie Clerk for a little while. As you know, I'm big on debaters and people who can articulate their points.
Mm-hmm.
And so Charlie Kirk started out. He would do a lot of on-campus interviews. Like he was one of the ones who sit down and be like, "Hey, this is my position. Prove me wrong."
I saw those.
And he would
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of open
Okay.
forums with the purpose of having open and honest dialogue.
Mm.
It wasn't about making someone feel bad about their position as much as to uncover how much of this is just programming, how much of this is just stuff you're regurgitating. And so he went to a lot of college campuses because that was part of his argument,
Okay, I might have
is
seen
that
him.
the college campuses were indoctrinating a lot of people.
Right.
And so with that said, I also understand that I can respect someone and disagree with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we disagree does not mean
Right.
we're in opposition. That just means we don't disagree, we don't agree. But one thing that this reminds me of, and same thing with Trump, is that in our community, we kind of have like this weird echo chamber kind of a thing where it's like black culture encompasses all black people
Mhm.
and everyone is to be protected and to be defended. When I think if we were all objective, there are certain behaviors, certain actions that we don't even condone. But the moment someone who doesn't look like us says something about it, there seems to be like this uproar of people trying to come to the defense of the indefensible.
Mhm.
Like, why can't we just admit, hey, that's just poor behavior? Why
Mhm.
can't we just say, you know what, he's not referring to me
Mhm.
when he's making this argument? Because we all know those people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think a lot we run a dangerous race where we can't allow criticism from anyone else who doesn't look like us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
I
And
think
go ahead.
I think that's a good perspective. But from one of the videos I saw today, like I said, I just saw the video today. But before today, I've never seen any of his alleged racist videos
Mhm.
or disputes, debates. But this guy did point out that his numbers were off. And the problem with his numbers being off is that it was overly criminalizing our people,
Mhm.
which doesn't look good, for the image of black people for the other races.
Mhm.
If this guy's is correct in his position, that could be problematic, because when you start doing when you start putting out numbers and you're
Mhm.
criminalizing the people, you might want to make sure that those numbers are correct. You want to do your due diligence, because you're right. His intentions could have been good. You know what I'm saying? Like, pointing it out. And I'm for that. I love constructive criticism, and I think it should
Mhm.
be able to come from anybody.
Mhm.
But also, I think we deal with a lot of traumas too, from our past, where, you know, growing up, it was always do what the white man said. I don't know if you grew up in that kind of a household, but
Mhm.
my grandmother, my mother was like, listen to them, do this around them, do this. So now we have this rebelling generation of people who can't really find that balance.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do think there needs to be, some form of grace applied to us. But I'm not saying don't address the issue.
Mhm.
But I think we should have some understanding, and other people from other races need to understand why it's so hard for black people to listen to constructive criticism from other races, It's
Yeah,
specifically this generation.
that's true. But that
So,
definitely is that, that he did pass away. But I do agree with those points, that grace should be applied in certain situations, and but also that accountability is
Right,
accountability.
right.
And it you know I definitely I do, but also I feel as though wisdom should be applied when they are saying it, just because of the history given. Apply some wisdom when you say it, um in and that, because
yeah.
that is always key. But in other news, there was a family who for 107 years they always had boys. They have been producing nothing but
Wow.
males, so their family line is very strong. It's Shermans, and they are in Texas, in Montgomery County, Texas. So him and his wife Jaquin are expecting a baby girl. So this is breaking, I'm sorry, not 107 years, this is breaking a 108-year family streak of sons, and which I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, having a girl, I know how it feels, but also I know how it feels to have sons too. So it's like
What's gonna be
it's
her
really
name? That's what I want to know, because this baby is gonna be cherished by everybody in the family.
everybody.
Baby's name is gonna be Miracle.
It is miracle or cherish, something like that.
I kind of feel bad for her because she's gonna be like the only girl in the midst of all these boys. So it's gonna be like, I mean, one, everything you're not gonna get any hand me downs. Everything is gonna be like yours.
Mhm.
So that's a plus, but also then it's like when you want to do girl things, who do you run to? You know?
You
You
know,
run
I
to
could
all the wives.
the family.
Well, yeah, yeah, but I mean,
They all
you,
pining for the opportunity to be able to spoil a little girl.
yeah, I know, but at the
Mm,
same, that child is
that's
gonna be,
true.
she's gonna be really, really spoiled. Like it is gonna be
You
bananas.
you know what, that poor family, they're gonna be looking at the little girl like, what do we do with this? What did we do with this creature?
Yeah, it's gonna be really really cool. Also, they are trying to see right now if this applies them for a Guinness World Book of Records
It should.
thing, because that's pretty cool.
It should, yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, it's not pretty cool.
I mean, depends how you look at it. I mean,
Apparently, Nikki thinks it's pretty cool.
no, I'm just thinking it's pretty cool to like if they like if they
Oh,
actually
to
did-
finally have one.
no like if they actually get in the book of records, you know, that's what I
okay.
think is pretty
Oh,
cool.
gotcha. I was just teasing you. I thought you were saying it's pretty cool that they went 107 years without having a girl.
well,
No,
so
I think it's cool.
while we on the subject of this, and this is interesting, my brother has this particular theory, and I don't want to get into that too much of that, but his argument is
Get into
that hold on, his
He's probably
argument
right.
is you didn't even let me finish.
I'm just saying.
Hold on. But his argument is that life presents us challenges or trepidations based off of our actions. And so for men, if you have been frivolous or he calls it bad to women,
I heard
hurtful,
that.
harmful to women, or not, or maybe not as respective to women, your first child is gonna be a girl.
Uh-oh.
If you've had more genuine relationships with women, your first child tends to be a boy. So the question we gotta ask is, so if they've had a streak of 107 years, then these men must be really good to their women, or at least for the first child.
What's
So
your
that
first
means-
child?
After the first child, it's off the walls. It's just based off of
Prime,
genetics and
what's
probabilities.
your first child, Prime?
Why we got to get into that? Why
I'm
we got to
t-
get into that?
I'm testing the theory right now.
My first child is a girl.
Dang, Prime.
Wait a minute. I feel like there's so much judgment.
No, I said your brother was probably right, and I'm sticking to it.
But wait, but I don't know.
Who-
That
who's your
applies
first
to
child?
you?
No, dang, why you said
Who's
so?
your
I-
first child?
No, I,
We ragging Prime right now.
no, because like when I first put the camera on you, because that happened, and I was like, I put it on you as like a joke because your first child is a girl, but I don't
Uh-huh.
see that. From
And he
you.
just threw me under the bus. Like I don't know his
Nah,
oldest.
I don't see that. I don't see that. From
Nah,
you.
I don't believe it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
From talking to you, I'm pretty. Yeah.
Well, I
What?
guess we both guilty. then.
It's not like an abuse kind of a thing, but I do think that from the way he described it to me is just that it's a growth mechanism. It's like life kind of rebalancing how you view things.
Mm.
So if maybe your relationship for whatever you went through, and this isn't always just you being a bad person, as much as your environment you grew up in might have led you to be more promiscuous. Your environment may have been have taught you to kind of treat women a certain way.
Mhm.
And the consequence, or basically life's way of realigning you, is to give you a daughter, because now viewing the daughter is going to force you to change how you interact with women.
You know what? That's so true too. That is true, because we know that the power that a daughter has on a man.
Mhm.
But it's funny because I actually thought about doing an episode with the Black Love Club, titled titling the show centered around father and son relationships and mothers and sons fathers and daughters and mothers and sons relationships and comparisons to our relationship. What in a way to empathize in a relationship.
All right.
So I think it was like something like, what advice would you give to your son? Right?
Mhm.
Because what I'm seeing like on social media now is just like I'm seeing men that are so disconnected from the female species and the women disconnected from the male species. But these are people who love their sons and daughters. And to me, it's like really ironic because it's like you're like never trust a bee, but you got a daughter.
Mm.
And you got women who are like, you just got to get their money,
Well,
but you got a son.
if we're gonna be honest, your daughter learns how to manipulate you at such a young age that wouldn't change that statement at all. Because the purest of intentions, her natural inclination is going to be to manipulate you in the way your sons aren't going to do.
Well,
And it's not to say there's anything wrong with it, but that's just how they operate.
So no, I feel you, but I disagree.
Okay.
That's why I disagree. My sons
Mm-hmm.
try to manipulate me. My daughters
That is
try to manipulate me. Now, I do want to clarify, not that they're doing it intentionally, like I'm going to manipulate them, but children want what they want,
Right.
and they're going to try to get what they want. Just like she's like acting surprised, like her sons are perfect, but just the other day he didn't want to drink the tea that his mama gave him,
Mm-hmm.
so he pulled it out. Now, the only thing about my sons, I would say,
I mean, that's not manipulation.
oh, what?
That's rebellion.
So in his mind, what he was doing was like he noticed like if he wastes something,
Mm-hmm.
he don't have to drink it or eat it.
Right.
We don't let them eat off the floor. So if he
Right.
drops something on the floor, he knows he don't have to eat it. That's manipulation.
I will say that's one son. That is one son.
That is one son.
But that's not really manipulation. If you think about it, that is him. That's the way he perceived how you raise him. So in his mind, the rule is if it touches the ground, I don't got to eat it. Well, if I don't want to drink this, then it sounds like the easiest solution would be to put it on the floor because you don't drink what's on the floor.
I do feel like it's kind
No,
of a form of
so I
manipulation.
get what you're saying. You just reframed it, but it's still manipulation. Because look, as an adult, now let's play this as an adult. If I'm at work
Mm-hmm.
and I was told that, if any of these product pieces, if any of this merchandise is damaged,
Right.
then I can have it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I drop it,
Right.
aren't I manipulating the situation to my advantage?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Arguably. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's what my son, they do stuff like this all the time.
Mhm.
So if like
Your son.
I don't have any examples.
Let him talk in general. Let him talk
I don't
in
have
general.
any examples of she's always trying to come to their defense. But if I had an example of what one that I know Cody could
No, I really
Cody,
don't. I don't
phone
think.
in, save me. If
I don't
you
think
listen to
JoJo
this.
has an example. JoJo is not that type of person. JoJo is.
No. At
I don't-
some point he was.
I don't.
So
At some point he
No,
was.
not like
I can
that.
start bringing back some examples. No,
All right,
that's
all right.
just kids.
all right. So
I like that we
don't wanna
going into
get-
manipulation though. No,
Yeah.
because I don't want to stay on the kids thing because our topic is about boundaries,
Mhm.
and I think this will tie in perfectly as we're going in for manipulation and different things like that.
I'm about to spit it.
But what do you do? Because a lot of relationship tactics, today y'all we're talking about healthy boundaries and stuff in relationships, even in family relationships. Like, sure.
Oh, I just thought this was an opportunity to flow. That beat was like
Yeah,
going. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
we're talking about healthy
ADHD.
relationships today and boundaries. And you know what? He's crossing a big boundary right now. I feel.
Oh, it sounds like
Hey,
it. Hey.
let's get to it. Well,
But
let me introduce the
manipulation
topic.
tactics and different things like that. Go ahead, introduce
me
the topic
introduce
and
the
let us get
topic.
in.
Thank you for tuning in to KBOB 89.9. You are now tuned in to the Black Love Club, and today's topic is boundaries, creating healthy boundaries to preserve our relationship. Y'all know this is a tough talk because a lot of people, we like to stay away from boundaries because we think that's our comfortable zone, right?
Mm.
But my argument is when you don't create boundaries, healthy boundaries, then you are creating a crash out. And I know y'all tired of crashing out. Some of y'all tired of crashing out. And if you're not tired of crashing out, then I know you're tired of the damage that you create from crashing out. Think about it. So how we prevent these crash outs is we create healthy boundaries. You know, we don't have to keep deleting everybody from our life. You know, we don't have to,
I mean, sometimes it's the easiest solution.
But you're right.
Hey,
You're right.
Hey, Raquel said if she costs more than 30%, she too expensive.
Hey, but see, that's a healthy boundary. That's
Just
a
saying,
healthy boundary.
it's a healthy boundary.
So I mean, we not like, if you have that boundary, yeah, you know what I'm saying. You preserve yourself and that person, sanity.
They're losing fights to the microphone.
But when you make your boundaries known, you can create a healthy relationship because that person knows what to expect. You know, I think what destroys most relationships is unrealistic expectations, and those expectations are things that we never really communicated. You know, stuff that we didn't discuss. So a lot of people, we be having our boundaries, and we were like, that crossed my boundary, but we never even talked about it.
Right. You know, I'm glad you brought this up. I've been looking forward to having this conversation because I think that this is one area where this generation of men, I believe we have a lot of room for improvement on. I like to throw a lot of blame on the 80s and the 90s, but part of the reason I do that is because of the nature of how they kind of taught us or showed us to engage with women. You know, we were kind of conditioned to try and chase the woman we were smitten with. And in order to do that, we needed to basically, they call it now love bombing. So early on in the interaction, we're giving a ton of affection. We're giving a ton of attention. We're going above and beyond. We're being very thoughtful. We're being very considerate. We're very present. We're very well put together, all of these things. But that's because in our eyes, we are actually kind of shooting up in a certain degree. We are trying to prove ourselves to that woman. And the problem with that is that after that initial phase goes on, or as you often hear from women, well, once he gets me, then all of that stuff turns off. Now he's different. Well, the thing is that was just not sustainable. That's the problem with that. And so another thing that went along with that is that we were basically very flexible early on in the relationship. We were kind of taking people for how they were. We were kind of work with people. We were trying to understand how somebody operates so that we can best help them. Problem with that is what we end up doing is we end up getting into a relationship with kind of a blank slate with only a few certain boundaries that we both agree to. In most cases, we're going to agree to, nowadays, we're going to agree to be monogamous. We're going to agree not to disrespect each other in public. For most healthy relationships, you're going to agree not to share your relationship with friends, families, and other parties, et cetera, but you didn't get into very many boundaries as to how the relationship itself was supposed to work or what your initial expectations were. So what ends up happening, and I think this happens a lot on the men's side, is that we get into the relationship with this woman and then we figure out what doesn't feel good, what doesn't taste good, what we no longer like. And now we're trying to establish a boundary. It's too late at that point. Now we're kind of bucking the current. That's why we run into situations of, well, why is he trying to tell me how to dress when I dressed this way when he met me? We didn't have that boundary up front.
Go
yeah.
DJ.
She owned it today.
On cue.
So you got that. You went and picked her up and what you met her out drinking with her girlfriends. Y'all dates have all been at the club drinking with her girlfriends. Well, now you get in a relationship and you want to get exclusive. So the first thing you say is, well, stop going out and partying. And she's sitting up there like, this what I do every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
I mean, every Friday, Saturday, until early Sunday morning, and then I go to church. That's but that in line is the
Oh my
problem. And so I think as men, we have to actually, before we get into a relationship, we need to sit down and figure out what it is we are expecting out of that relationship.
Yeah.
And then we need to, one, stop trying to go for the woman you smitten with, because I think there's a compelling argument that I don't think men need to be in love. I think that's a very dangerous thing. I think you need to love your woman, but you don't need to be in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be rationally sound. It's so much better for her to be in love with you, because the attraction is never equal amongst humans. One always likes the other more. And so the one that is reaching up, or the one that loves the other, is the one who gets the most of the emotions from the exchange. Well, as we know, women live through their emotions, so they're going to benefit most from that. As men, we are most out of place in that, because we're dealing with all of these emotions we're not used to dealing with. And it tends to be a negative situation, and we tend to become more volatile. So I think it's important that we sit down and we establish boundaries up front, and then we filter through the women who are interested in us, and then make sure that their values, their presentation matches up with the boundaries that we're going to set before we get into that relationship.
So I want to go on record saying that Prime just said men are the problem. And you heard it here.
Wow.
You know, I like what he said too
I
about,
was trying to save you, that's all.
being in love. I think I agree. You know, like if we already talked about it on the show, men don't set standards. We don't have standards for women, right? So what's even worse is like we go into a relationship knowing some things we may not have spoken it, but subconsciously we know some things we won't tolerate.
Right.
But like you said, if you are in love, then that's a dangerous place to be, because it takes away your ability to be rational. So you will look past all of these things,
That's why a lot of men can't walk away. And without the ability to walk away, you have no leverage. You can't negotiate.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the only power you do have, to enforce your boundaries, is the walk away power.
100%.
Some men believe the power they have is to punch it down.
Well, I'm not going to get into that whole domestic violence thing.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. And look, y'all, I'm laughing. I'm not encouraging domestic violence.
Wait. Was that the kind of punching you were talking about? You know what?
Yeah.
That said, Mickey Minnie makes a good point. She says that I don't think I have boundaries. If my husband do something I don't like, he'll hear about it for she put a lot of R's in there. Well, maybe not forever, but okay, all right. So probably forever with just 2 R's. I feel you. That said, I think that is an important distinction. I don't think women need to come in with nearly as many rigid boundaries. I think in most cases, women need to come in with almost like a safe word. What is your no, don't go any further, I'm not with that? Those are really the boundaries the woman needs to bring into the relationship. Because if she's going to be following the man's lead, she needs to be as malleable as possible. That's part of why these older women are having such difficulty getting into relationships, because they've been through so many things. They have so many walls and boundaries in place that it becomes a jockeying for him trying to fit into my life versus she trying to fit into his life.
So wait, hold up. Let the woman
Hey,
jump
you got
in
it. The
here
woman
for a second.
Okay.
The woman is speaking.
So this is why I disagree with that statement.
All right.
It's because that if these women would have had boundaries in the beginning, they would have never been through that. You wouldn't know what you're going to accept before it comes through the door. You know what it is. Like if you have boundaries about self-respect, you understand boundaries commonplace when you understand who you are and you love yourself so much that you don't allow just anything to come in the way. So if these women would have had self-love for themselves, one, and were taught that, then they would have never came in contact with the men that they came in contact, the abuse that they came in contact with. So now the boundaries that they have now are more like walls because they're afraid to let people in, and they're like, well, that the first sign, he with that stuff, so he's gone. They move on. So I do feel as though we should teach our kids to have boundaries as they grow. Those boundaries, some boundaries stay the same, and some boundaries, change and different things like that. But it's just as though could be adjusted, not changed. I'm gonna say adjusted. So I definitely think that if we teach our kids to have those boundaries and different things like that, then we will save them from a lot of the heartache and the heartbreak, especially us as women, because us as women, we love deeply when we do.
Right.
So, and often we're taking advantage because of that, because we want to feel love.
So I see what you're saying, but I think what that actually, I think the underlying issue with that is that's why you shouldn't be mingling with that many men, because that just creates that environment that you're gonna be hurt, you're gonna be abandoned, you're gonna be cheated on, you're gonna be lied to, you're gonna be hit,
and that's why boundaries come in.
And then after you've done all of these things, your husband is then going to have to try and navigate your boundaries. But that's why I'm saying it's probably better that you engage less with men so that you have less boundaries.
But that's
so that you're easier to be with.
Yeah, but if we teach our kids boundaries, and like Mickey Maroney said, she said, I think those are morals. Think of those as morals. But if we give our kids those boundaries and those morals in the beginning, they won't never deal with that. So that's what I'm saying. If those women would have had that in the beginning, they would have never been entertaining that many men, because they would have had the understanding of boundaries. Like, no, I'm not gonna let him in. I'm not gonna let him get close. You will see. Me and my husband, we had a conversation yesterday about a movie we were watching, and it was just like, no, it was an Instagram post, right? And the movie kind of worked with that, but who was like saying, do you think this woman knew her husband was like that before? But see, she probably lacked the boundaries and lacked the awareness to understand what to look for. That's why we have to train our kids right now, not just train them on how to act, but we got to train them on more than that. As they get older, there's more trainings on what to look for and different things like that. Real conversations, not just like, don't be with him or whatever, like real conversations on this is what you look for in a man. Because I feel like this lady, she was saying that, a little backstory, the lady, she got divorced after I forgot how many years, but she'd been a stay-at-home mom for so many years. And she asked her husband, she said, could you just give me something? Because she has nothing. Could you give me something so that I can be basically I don't have to struggle with the kids? And he told her, she was like, because I never had a job. You wanted me to stay at home with the kids, so that's what I did. So he told her, basically they were talking about value. And she was like, my value was at home and different things like that. And he was like, no, your value wasn't, because there's several women that wanted to have kids with me. So what you did wasn't anything. So she felt as though she made a post saying, marriage is a humiliation ritual, so she's against it now because of that hurt. But if in the beginning she was told what to look for, because I'm pretty sure there were signs. There probably wasn't signs of how he treated her, but there was probably signs of how he treated other people to show that in bad times, he would probably treat you like trash too. So it's just like, if we have those signs, we'll never run. Not saying we'll never run into those people, but we know what to look for. There's less chances of being with that many men. So yeah.
So here's the thing. I hate peering into a singular point in someone's relationship and only hearing one side of that perspective. because we don't fully know the context of what's going on, nor can we really separate what's the exaggeration or what's based on just how that other person interpreted what happened. So I say that to say, from that post or from what you've said so far, I haven't heard anything that leads me to believe that this man is not a capable husband and father.
Well, if he is
Hold
not
on.
willing to give the woman of his
So
his children's mother money so that they won't struggle because she doesn't have a job, then what
wait,
does
what do
that
you mean
make
by
him?
like give her money?
Sh-
Well, like what is she needing money for?
to get an apartment because they're divorced. He kicked her out the house.
She never worked.
She never worked a 9 to 5 because he wanted her to stay home.
Okay.
So she's asking, well, can you give me some money?
So did he cheat or did she divorce him?
No, he cheated on her.
Mm-hmm.
And
she divorced him.
And no, like he was basically done with her. Basically, that's what it seemed like from me. From the small clip, it seemed like he was just done with her, and she was like, "Well, can you give me some money or whatever?" But whether he cheated and she divorced him, it doesn't matter. It's still he did something. He did something wrong. Now, it could have happened.
If you
several
divorce
times.
me, and so like, I hear what you're saying, and I want you to finish it, but I want to point this out. Nowadays, there's this weird phenomenon going on where women feel like they can divorce a man and we're not supposed to have any emotions to that. Like, we are supposed to be completely acquiescing to your situation. We're supposed to be empathetic with you as if you didn't break up a commitment that we agreed to.
But he broke up the commitment first, Brian.
Well, if she filed for divorce, she broke it up.
No, if he went and cheated, he broke it up. For every action, there is a reaction.
Again,
that was just
there are
action.
plenty of women who have been cheated on and stayed in their marriage.
And some of
so
them
that
are
is
stupid,
a choice.
And some of them are
But
stupid.
But my point is that you can't have it both ways. Like, you don't get to say, hey, I don't want to deal with you no more, and then blame him for not dealing with you the way you feel like he should. Like, if you wanted the best out of him, you should have stayed with him.
How is staying with somebody getting the best out of them if they cheated on you and had no remorse for them cheating on you?
Well, because I'm pretty sure while she was staying with him, she didn't need money because she had everything she needed for her and the kids.
But that's her boundary. She's not going to stand there and continue to be disrespectful. I'm pretty sure this probably has been a thing of what was going on. From the looks of her, it looks like this was a thing that he constantly was doing or something. And she finally had a boundary. I don't know the whole story, but I'm pretty sure this is a boundary.
I see.
And you can accept.
I see why it's like Prime said. It is kind of hard to speak on these situations because we have to defend these people from what we believe will be the situation. So it is kind of hard. In the beginning, if she had established her boundary, she wouldn't have been in that position. So I agree with both of y'all. So one thing I did want to say too is there is a difference between boundaries and morals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So someone's moral compass could be one of your boundaries. Like, for instance, let me elaborate. If, like, I can say, if Nikki doesn't consider
reggae real music
stealing,
okay,
if she don't consider stealing morally wrong, then I can't have any kind of relationship with her.
Right, that's a moral thing.
Right, so that's moral, and my boundary is my limits. Like, my limits is their morals morally she has to understand that stealing is wrong. So
right. Morals is the ideal. Boundaries is more for the action.
So with that being said, I think women should have boundaries coming in.
Well, I didn't say they shouldn't. I just said that they don't need
as many as the man. I thought you said that. I thought you said that in the beginning.
Like their boundaries need to be there. Don't stop. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Whatever that is for you, that's where your boundaries need to be. But the rest of the stuff needs to come from your man. That's what's going to help you feel secure in the relationship, is him setting the terms for how the relationship goes.
But yeah, that's all I said. I said in the beginning, if women will have those boundaries in the beginning, then they will never have. You will have less women who have been hurt. So you'll have more women who will be better fit for marriage and different things like that. Because you, like in the beginning, it always matters in the beginning because it's the trauma that happens afterwards that affects us today. So in the beginning, if we have those boundaries, if we have those conversations, we have healthy communication, then it'll save us from a whole lot of things.
You know, I got a question. So I'm trying to figure out if our disagreement is more semantics or not. So could you give me some examples of some boundaries you think your women should go into a relationship knowing or having?
I think some boundaries a woman should um how she's spoken to. A man should speak to her with respect, because a lot of times men speak in a disrespectful way and kind of say like in the way that they show you in music videos and stuff like that, and they accept that. So they accept the wrong type of dude and they're hurt by that. So that's what I'm saying. You should be spoken to with respect.
Fair enough. But if could we agree that respect is seen differently between men and women?
No, because the way you don't just talk to somebody. So you think is it okay for men to call a woman to be or in different things like that? Because I think stuff like that is
I don't
wrong.
think I think that's disrespectful. But I also know plenty of women who do that to each other.
But
So
we're talking
is it
about relationships.
just disrespectful when I do it?
We're talking about relationships between men and women. So
but what I'm saying is, like, if you engage with your friend group and these people know you the best, these people you like to spend time with call you this, why is it all of a sudden out of bounds if I do it?
Because it's a tone thing. This is why I'm
saying respect is different.
No, so we from New Orleans. In New Orleans, they will call you a B several different ways, but at the same time, it can mean different things. You could mean like
you will literally call your friend
my friend, like, you can mean very disrespectful. It's like it's all in the tone on which they're saying it. It's all in the context of the conversation. So, like, it's different.
So how am I going to know I'm disrespecting you if I could say it at a different way?
I think you know, because
like
men don't typically call women.
I know, but I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, don't play devil's advocate.
But my point to that is, but my point is that I feel like, and more often than not, with men, there's usually a very clear separator on what we feel like is disrespect. And I feel like with women, that line kind of moves a little bit because you don't really operate on respect. So that's my point being, is that I could say something to you and I'm just being direct, and you could take that disrespect. You could take that as disrespect.
Yeah. So I see what he's saying. Like when you survey the most important things, to men, most men do have respect high on their priority list, and women don't have that as much. It rarely come up for women.
All right, and like, so I agree with you. You don't want a man to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm done.
But you don't want a man to disrespect you or talk crazy to you. Now, I completely agree with you, but I'd also argue the reason they went with the rapper is not because of how he talked to them. That's something they just went along with for the reason that they went with him. And that's because of, they call it the dark triad traits. The very same things that make the hero attractive to women is the same reason the villain is attractive to women. They're the same traits.
Right.
It's just their purpose is different.
So I think you got into a philosophical discussion, but I agree with Nikki. Like, you should be, like, she didn't put a gauge on disrespect, but it is important that a woman set that boundary for disrespect, right? Because it's only so much of disrespect a woman could take before she become a crash out. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
It only takes so much disrespect that a woman could take before she puts some kind of negativity back into this world.
I
You know what I'm
100% agree
saying?
with you on that.
So it won't be healthy for a woman to get into a relationship without that boundary of saying, you know what, don't tolerate disrespect from this man.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't necessarily say what the disrespect looks like. I love your perspective though, but she didn't necessarily say what the disrespect looked like. So there's a woman who could go with, she can get in a relationship with a rapper.
Right.
Everybody knew this dude disrespectful to his
Right.
woman. But to your point, what we consider to be disrespectful is not as disrespectful to her. She's like, that's how I know he loved me.
That's my point.
But there is a place of disrespect to that woman where she's like, you know what? That's too much. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
just having that going into a relationship, having that boundary, I think is healthy.
I guess if you're gonna say a boundary, I just feel like you got to be able to actually list something that you could gate off, and I just feel like that line is just gonna be too fluid. Because one thing that I've noticed in women, and you could tell me if you feel any differently about it, but typically, if the woman is into you, a lot of her rules and boundaries go out the window. A lot of the hoops that you're supposed to jump through, those go out of the window if she selects you as her guy. So if we're just gonna work with the idea that the moment she picks you as that guy, she's gonna drop most of that stuff anyway.
Hey, you know what's funny though?
There's no point in that.
That's only temporarily. That's a fantasy.
What's a fantasy?
What you're saying, like women don't like. So that's throughout the infatuation stage. All of her boundaries go out the window, right? But then later on in a relationship, now you are.
But we're talking about at the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah, at
though.
the beginning. That's why she needs to understand her boundaries at the beginning.
But she's gonna be in love with you, which means she's going to be less able to think rationally.
Right. That's why she needs to have boundaries. Those boundaries are going to protect her from those irrational, impulsive decisions that she's going to make throughout that infatuation stage. Now, if she has these boundaries, if she don't have these boundaries, then anything goes.
I'm just saying, but if that's the case,
and then when time progresses, now she's 2 years down the line.
mm-hmm.
Let's say 5 years. They're married now,
right?
And that infatuation stage dies off.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is not Johnny. Now this is that's Johnny. You know what I'm saying?
What was that?
I wasn't about to do a female voice.
All right, go ahead.
I wasn't gonna give no impression of a female voice. Y'all not gonna see the day. But so it goes from this, he goes from this Johnny and flashing lights to, oh, that's Johnny. That happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what the 80s and 90s taught us to do.
So that's when those boundaries, now she's like, dang, all of this stuff that she always hated, that she said she wasn't going to tolerate, or that she knew that she couldn't tolerate.
Right.
She never established those things. And now they're 8 years in a marriage. And now this man is like, what happened? You're not the woman I married.
I mean, you've been doing it for 8 years.
You said what?
You've been doing it for 8 years.
Well, I know 8 years is kind of excessive. I think the honeymoon stage lasts for maybe 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, it's not gonna be 8 years before you start seeing like she now crashing out.
So what my point is that I think you're trying to put a logical stance on this, and I don't think it's logical, which is why I believe that they don't need as many boundaries, because it's less logical in what's going on. And it's really going to depend on the relationship between that woman and that man. Because does any woman at this point need to know it's a bad idea to date a rapper, a musician, or an athlete? No, they all know it's a bad idea. That don't stop them from doing it. that don't stop him from feeling bad and being mad when he cheat on them
I don't think
or
I
anything
think
like
those
that.
women know what they're doing in those
It's
cases.
the
But
incentive.
They get the money.
they still get
Yeah,
hurt.
it's the incentive.
They still get hurt and they still get trauma
I
from
don't
it.
think they get
So-
hurt. I think
They play hurt for the money.
Or okay, all right, manipulation. All right, cool. But my point, what I'm getting at with that is that so from an emotional standpoint, the reason being is that I think in general, men are respectful to women.
Mm-hmm.
I think in general, men are respectful to women. At this point, part of the issue is men are too deferential to women. But I would say in general sense, men are respectful to women, primarily because we're forced to be respectful to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's natural for us to consider the other person and be respectful in general. We know from experience and from hearing other men that who's most likely to aim below the belt in a relationship?
Women.
Who's most likely to take something private and throw it in your face?
Women.
a sassy man.
Yeah, you're right. A sassy man is
Is acting like a woman.
typically
So,
acting like a woman.
Is gonna be a woman. So that's why it should be on the man to set the bounds for what respect is, because he's going to, in most cases, be the most respectful. If I determine what the respect and disrespect is, you're gonna be covered, because I'm not gonna say something to you that I wouldn't be okay with you saying to me.
So I feel that, but I think there's a flaw in that argument. It's not that women don't understand. So when a woman swings below the belt, women understand that they know it's disrespectful.
Okay, so you're about to justify this as if
No.
as it's
So
not abuse.
what I'm saying, I'm not saying that it's not abuse. I'm not trying to justify it. But what I'm saying is the woman still has the capability. She still has the ability to say this is disrespectful. She knows it's disrespectful, but she's more likely to do it because of her hormones.
Well, I'm saying she's not setting the terms for it, though. What I'm saying is, if I set the terms, none of that would happen, because I'm not going to do that to you, and I'm not going to tolerate you doing it to me. So it's not to say that she's incapable of understanding disrespect. It's just that because I'm least likely to aim below the belt, it makes more sense for me to set the bounds of what's disrespectful. Is it already that time?
Yes, it's that time.
Oh, man. Wow. We have been cooking.
Yes.
We really have. I had looked up and I was like, oh, look at the time.
Yeah.
And that was an accident. I wasn't supposed to play it.
Hey,
didn't know
no,
the
you
volume
own it
was
today.
already
You is
up.
own it today.
So, y'all, it's prime time. Prime, what you got for us today?
All right. You going to read it today?
Oh, I can read it. Look at me with my voice. Wait, is that it? Was that it?
Did I send it to you today?
You did send it to me. I'll put it in. Hold up, y'all, because that was not the one. I don't know why it didn't.
I can read it. I got my reading voice on.
No, I was trying to put it up. I'll read it. It says, I'm not toxic. I just get a little crazy when I love you too much. I put the wrong one in. That's what happened. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So the post is, I'm not toxic. I just get a little crazy when I'm into you, when I love you. So too much. So this is going back into our boundaries conversation. This loops back around to our why men shouldn't be in love conversation. Because when you as a man are emotionally compromised, you become erratic. You become prone to being irrational. So you can, through a perversion of love, abuse somebody. You can, through a perversion of love, attack somebody or suffocate someone. And so it's important, I believe, as men, that we focus on love being an action word and not being an enveloping emotion. I would also point this back to the women, and this is why I say, and respect is so important, because A woman can love you and disrespect you, but you cannot show love to me and disrespect me. So we have to be able to separate those two things. I cannot just accept your love the way you're used to doing it, because maybe your love comes with a level of disrespect. Maybe your love comes with a level of control. Maybe your love comes with a level of manipulation. Maybe your love comes with a measure of being transactional. That's not love. And so we have to be careful when we are vetting women to make sure that this is why the boundaries are so important. I like that Mickey Minnie brought up that that morals are separate from boundaries, because that is important. If you walk up and you talk to a woman and she to your face says that I don't believe that stealing is wrong, you immediately know there's nowhere you can go with this woman. However, you can meet a woman who understands that stealing is wrong, but will steal on occasion. So your boundary could be, I don't deal with thieves. So, and morals is good, but we got to set boundaries on what we are going to do, or what we're going to be willing to accept in the relationship, because that is going to go a long way to helping your wife, your other half feel comfortable, or not necessarily comfortable, but it'll help reassure them of where they are in the relationship. If you set strict boundaries on how you're going to relay a criticism, then you don't need to every 5 minutes reassure her that your relationship is on par, because you let her know up front, hey, if I got an issue with you, I'm gonna tell you to your face. You know, we talked about cheating. If you up front let her know how you feel about relationships, you don't have to spend every 5 minutes going around trying to convince her of something else. That's why it's important we set up those boundaries. But instead of trying to change someone, because people only change because they are tired of the results that they're getting, you got to find people that are already moving in the lane that you're going. You do that, find somebody that loves you, but more importantly, respects you. You respect them in kind. And let's get on with that black love.
Nah, man, that was a beautiful take. And Miss Barbara Darrensbury, she was loving it. She said, I like that, to the point, good topic. And she said, what up, Prime?
Hey.
She was feeling that. But yeah, man, I think that was an awesome show. It was an awesome show. And y'all, we went a little bit above our time. So I'm going to go ahead and we concluded with what Prime just said. It was Prime time. So that was a fire closing. But as always, thank you for tuning in to KBOV 89.9. This is the Black Love Club. But as well, always, Black women,
we love you.
And Black men, we love you. And Black child, you are golden. So until next time, peace.
You're golden. Did you see him trying to trip me up again?
You still,
Yeah.
you still on.
Oh, I know.